Okay. While we all join the meeting, we're just going to begin and let's talk about some very important things. And you can actually mute yourself. If you want to speak, you go ahead and unmute your mic. So Bitcoin hasn't been friendly. We all know this. But then again, I want to start with the cover issue. A lot of us are asking why cover is pumping instead of dumping. So I think that's where we should actually begin. So we address that once and for all. Uh, Binance actually shared this update on 17th. They said they were going to delist cover. So logically, the thing everyone was supposed to do was sell, right? And that was actually what happened because it dumped initially and then started pumping all of a sudden. But there are things you should take note of when you see things, coins like this pumping. You should actually go digging, dig on their social handles, cover, go and find out exactly what is happening. Most of us do not know why it's pumping because we actually did not bother to do any research. But if you take a look at Cover's Twitter handle, they shared this message initially and tagged every all the exchanges where Cover is listed, or mostly the major exchanges, to inform their audience that Cover is shutting down. Before Binance and the like started sharing the news that they would delist Cover. But then this is what this message says. It's conflicted emotions that announce the end of ruler and cover protocol. Decision today is not come easy and all of this. The core developers left. Now that is the crucial thing here to talk about. After discussing with the remaining team and finalizing plans moving forward, it made sense that the remaining treasury funds be evenly dispersed to token holders. Now, do you see this paragraph? They are disbursing their treasury fund, so everything in cover treasury is going to the token holders. So logically, you see why it's pumping. Now there will be a snapshot, the same way Binance and other exchanges do snapshots for tokens that they want to do airdrops for. Compensation will be as of block number 13, whatever, the number you see here, and the snapshot will be used to distribute funds to holders from the treasury. Founders, including myself, will not take part of this. So now you see that the general idea why cover is pumping is so that people can get what is in the treasury. You don't know how big the treasury is. They did not state it. Or maybe when you go digging, or you're going to probably find out in the Telegram group. But right now, if you are not in the Telegram group prior to this moment, you cannot join the Telegram group because they've disabled a lot of things, right? You just get kicked out 60 seconds because you cannot do capture there. So I just tried to jump in there. And within the 60 seconds, the sentiment there just told me all I needed to know. So the idea is generally that people were buying cover with the intention that the snapshot might be anytime soon. I know they intend to sell before this whole delisting and the rest of them. They could actually hold cover. But the thing is this, if you are buying cover, if you bought cover on this form, it's unfortunate because I would actually say that, I mean, I don't know what your plan is because it's a very, very wrong move. I don't know if you're trying to hold an NFT like for a lifetime or something. You're trying to show your children a monument that this is cover tokens that cannot be sold. You know, right now the only place you can sell cover is on dexes, right? It's on uniswap, it's on SushiSwap. Of course, cover is on Earth and Phantom protocol as well, both protocols. It started on Earth, but then these are the places where you could sell cover. Now, are you selling cover? Will there be enough liquidity? These are the thoughts you should have. Even if Binance and other exchanges, centralized exchanges, delete cover and you withdraw them to your wallet, where are you going to sell them? Unless it's a novice who does not know what is going on, that goes ahead to buy cover on um, Uniswap. Someone might even go ahead to create liquidity for it in USDT pair, just to, Will can do that just to capture some people or knowing users. But then if you go ahead to buy cover and say, okay, you want to sell on Uniswap, you might, the slippage might just be crazy, it might drive you crazy at this point. That's if you even find a single buy order. Because a lot of people are paying attention the same way you are paying attention. So now you see the reason why cover pumps. People were trying to, it's just greed. It's simply greed. Nothing. There's nothing to explain here. It's greed. People were trying to get what's in the treasury So you might want to take a risk and say, okay, maybe the treasury was actually that day Binance shared that thing. It was a day after, it was 2 days after, or 3 days after, or at least before 22nd. Today is right, today 22nd, right? And Binance said they are canceling all the pairs. If you take a look at this, Binance will conduct an automatic settlement and cancel all pending orders and delist cover on 22nd, which is 9 a.m., which it means that they should have already done this. They're not delisting today. They're supposed to delist on 24th, but they should have cancelled all orders according to this information right here. So this is just it. Cover is pumping because of the treasury funds. I hope this is quite clear enough now. No confusion anymore around why cover is pumping. So if you choose to hold cover right now, you are totally on your own. The core developers have left. The ones who are remaining will leave. And this, I think this information says that the UI will be shut down. The website, everything is going to be shut down, right? I think I read that somewhere. That should be on their Twitter. I'm not sure it's on this particular one right here. So everything is going to be shut down. If you're holding cover, you're holding a totally useless token. Not I won't say if the exit scammed. I don't know if that's official because they announced it. The project is winding down for one or two reasons. They can't handle anymore. So that's it for cover protocol. And let's talk a little bit about Bitcoin. So far we've been talking about this bearish trends over the last couple of days. Even I think that was last week. I shared a couple of bearish charts before we even flipped back above that daily 200 EMA. My whole mind was like, to be honest, you guys know we were fully bearish, right? But the thing was that Bitcoin was hanging on a thread just in between bullish and bearish. So we needed that consolidation above that 200 EMA. We flipped it, moved a little above it. That was when we started bouncing off this line on the 4-hour daily candle. Right, someone's joining the meeting. So go back to my chart. That was when we moved right above here, and I said, okay, we're probably going to go to this wedge and fall back because I knew that we were supposed to fall back, right? But then again, we did not even go as close as this. We just hung up here, right? On that 20 EMA, we just hung up here, then broke down below it. The moment we broke this down, I did that YouTube video and told you guys, okay, this is just typical technical analysis. Look at these measurements here. By default, we are supposed to try to match up this at the same time, getting to 37,600 or thereabouts, where we have that, I think is a 0.618 fib level or thereabouts. And if you plot your fib on this, so that was where we drew this measurement, and it coincided with the equal measurement of this ascending channel that we have here. We saw the steep drop once we broke down this, and another steep drop following it. Right now we have this because I think this is just around the two. If I put on that, I think I have so many EMAs on this because I want to use them. But if I put on the 200 EMA on this chart, you're going to see that just around here that we bounced from is just around the 200 EMA. We have both the moving average, the simple moving average, the SMA and the EMA exponential. So it's important that we are looking at two of them at the same time. Now I used two 20 EMAs on this chart, the simple moving average and the exponential moving average, because I want to show something on the weekly chart right here. Let me just zoom in a bit. Now if we look at this range that we were playing in previously, this is a range that we honestly don't want to go back into, right? Because it might take a few months or a long period of weeks for us to get out of this range. This range is actually very strong. You see what happened here when we fell into this range? You see what happened here when we fell into this range previously? So initially we struggled with this 42K level. If you look at this chart right here where I put in another rectangle, this was January and February, where we initially struggled with the 42. You see that 42K was just resistance until Elon Musk bought Bitcoin. So Elon Musk was the trigger to send us above the 42K. So something that held as long as this range right here was strong enough. Immediately we pulled above it. You can see the 1 week here. We had this super bullish candle on the weekly. What did we see when we broke this trend? We saw the super bullish candle trying to measure up something like this all the way down right here. And that is the same pressure we are trying to see here again, right? if you zoom into this, you're going to see that we don't really want to lose this 42K region on the weekly. It might be safer on daily, but then again, we are looking towards the weekly close. This is just around, I think this is Wednesday or so. Not sure if I'm correct, not checking. But this could be Wednesday. Yeah, okay, this is Wednesday. Now, we have a few days for this week to round up. We really don't want to lose this 42K region because, I mean, we could be seeing something like this, to be honest. And we don't want to fall back into this box again. Like I said, it might take a lot of time for us to come out again. Now, if you also take a look at this chart, you're going to see that this is just around the 20 simple moving average, MA, on the weekly. And we are right below the EMA. Of course, you know the EMA reacts faster to price. That's why we use it a lot in crypto. I prefer using the EMA because it reacts faster. But then there's a place for the EMA, the moving average, simple moving average, of course. Where we have this right now, Bitcoin is trying to hold above the simple moving average. Just in case you're not seeing my chart, let me zoom this up a little bit. This is the line we have right here. This is a line we have right here. A lot of people are still joining this. So, which we have around the 20 MA is around 40K from what I'm seeing here, 4,700. Okay, so that's where it's dropped down to. And we bounced right off there this morning. Of course, there's always going to be relief bounce. But then again, we want to try to make sure that we don't close this week below 42K. So just keep an eye on that. All right? We could still go as bearish as anything. We are yet to touch the 37,600 region where a lot of people logically think that Bitcoin is going to bounce from. But of course, you know how Bitcoin behaves. It tries to defy logic every time. And once you think that, okay, it's 37.6 is where a lot of people are waiting for 38K basically, it might just bounce from above there or below there just to weak you out. You can just have others there and then it weaks you down to 36 or even 35K and then have the bounce there. So it doesn't want to do what everybody thinks always. So this is how Bitcoin always works. So you have to keep an eye on that. If you're trying to do any kind of trading right now, of course you know you're playing you're taking a lot of risk unless you are looking to buy dips on spots. I already showed you guys where I'm buying a couple of things because I expect bounce and hopefully we get that from these regions if we fall back there. And if we don't fall back there, then we move and find other opportunities as well. Now, you can see the 20 MA on the 4-hour region right here, which was a red line. So we could still use that as resistance. If we go back up here, we could use the 20 MA as resistance around 43,800 or thereabouts. So if you're looking to short, you might want to take opportunities there. Or you can just wait out for the market to settle. This market is just choppy right now, and you see that we've not had a very tangible support that everybody resonates with, the entire market. A lot of people are still waiting for those lower regions to come. All right, so let's go to the market cap and see what's happening there. Of course we went below the MA ribbon. I didn't even use it on the Bitcoin chart, but we are clearly below the MA ribbon. Similar to what we have here on the market cap chart right here. It's just looking the same. This is a daily candle right here. But then again, something you have to notice is that we have dropped to the moving average, the 200 moving average, which is about the strongest. The lower one we have here is the EMA, which is usually lower. Of course, we can still fall back there. But then again, this is sufficient enough. So you can see that logically, this is where it was supposed to bounce from. And you see this green reaction today. Even if we're in a bear, of course, you're going to have relief bounces in areas like this, which is what we're having right now. So we could use this MA ribbon as resistance as we go back up if it's a bear fully. But then again, I'm going to show you why I still don't think we are fully transitioning into a bear season. Of course, we are bearish temporarily. The prices are dropping and the prices will drop. But of course, just like we had in this previous time here, I kept mentioning that we are not really in a full bear season like, you know, the 2018, 2017 blow off top and all of that. I have a strong incentive to think that this could be a super cycle and we are going to see steeper dumps and quicker reversals, unlike having a 3-year or 4-year wait, because everybody already knows. I mean, how can we just have to wait patiently again for another 4 years when the institutions are in? you have to understand the difference here that the institutions are in. They're going to try to drive these prices, but they want to buy as cheap as possible and move it back up as fast as possible. So, of course, they have all the patience in the world and all the money in the world to drive the market the way they want to. But if you tell me that the market is going full bearish mode for the next 3 years, from the point where we are now, I'll tell you no. I'm going to show you why as we proceed in this meeting. But of course, logically, this is a place where we are supposed to bounce from at this moment. Okay, just a moment. Let me show you something. Okay, then a little bit on the Ethereum charts. Ethereum, I wanted to share these updates in the group, but I think I forgot it the other day. Ethereum is looking like this is head and shoulder. This is pure head and shoulder. I spotted this a few days ago. Then you know how this affects altcoins, of course, and that's why you see altcoins are dropping. This is a clean head and shoulder right here that we have. Ethereum has been very bullish over the past couple of weeks because of the EIPP and the network upgrade. But then again, you see we dumped steeply below the EMA ribbon and to the bottom of this neckline, this bearish neckline, and we broke below it. Now we are bouncing because Bitcoin is bouncing and because total market cap hit a good support. But then, of course, you have to understand that there are still lapses for Ethereum. Unlike maybe Bitcoin or the market cap, there are still lapses here. So just if you're trying to buy from here, you know that you have to still expect that you buy dips, right? Just in case we get to this 200 EMA. We have not even touched the 200 EMA. Not to talk of the logical TA perspective for this dump. If we had about 25% measurement from the top of this, the height here, to the neckline, then we're supposed to logically have another equal measurement, which would take Ethereum around 2,300 or 2,200 thereabout. If you squeeze this, you're going to find out that this is a very good support. Look at this. These are key areas that Ethereum touched. And it only makes logical sense that Ethereum will bounce off these regions if we go full bear. Then also notice that once we are getting beyond those lines, just like we are on Bitcoin, we're going to go below the 200 EMA and the 200 simple moving average as well on Ethereum if we should see that. But of course, it's always safer if we hang above the 200 EMA. So if we dump to 2,500 or 2,540 or thereabouts, that should be okay for Ethereum. Would still be a little bit bullish on Ethereum and altcoins as well. So similar to what we have on the Ethereum chart is the altcoin market cap chart. All right. We took a look at the BTC cap chart and we saw that we bounced on the 200 EMA, but on the altcoin market cap chart, we see these lapses here as well. So just like the Ethereum chart, the alt market is still looking similar. There's a support here. If I put this line somewhere here, you see there's actually a support. But then again, a better support might be this, but we really don't want to go down here. I mean, even in the last dump was the one that took us. This is a daily candle, so the last dump was the one that took us just around here. Let me see what it looks like on the weekly charts. Okay. So just around the 20 EMA. It's actually logical here on the 20 EMA that we fall below here for the sake of the bulls. But you know that if we are dumping below here again, it's going to be even scarier. We might try to retest these lower regions again. But if we bounce off this 20 EMA on the weekly, it's really not bad. But just so you pay attention that we are still some lapses away from getting to this 200 EMA support, just in case we continue this dump. Just in case we continue. Of course, everything is always going to be in probabilities in this market. There's no guarantee. Anybody will tell you, hey, this is exactly where it's going to. This is exactly where it's going to stop. Where we're going to top out, or where we're going to bounce from. Of course, there are no guarantees in these things. It's either this or this. Then you point out your reasons, backing them by fundamentals or technicals, which is exactly what we are always trying to do here. Then exactly, I mentioned earlier that I really didn't think that we were going full bearish, because if you take a look at some of the market top indicators like Pearl multiple, we are looking at this, I mean, it doesn't make sense that the bull run will end when we are still here on the Pearl multiple. Look at the previous bull runs. I know that these things are not guaranteed, right? Bitcoin is still a developing asset. This industry is still forming, but still we have reference, right? If everybody sees it happen just as easy as, I mean, everybody knows where to sell. Everybody who knows about Pearl multiple and on-chain indicators, they will know where to sell and where to start taking profit. But then again, these institutions and rules are not going to make it very easy for you. But just have in mind that at some point we are definitely going to get above this. How to use this is when this red band line crosses above into the red band, whether it's touching it or just getting into it a bit or blowing off top. Like in 2013, 2011, we had the first one, massive blow off top. Of course, the market cap was very little, so we had huge moves. Then the next one here in 2013 or thereabouts, we had this getting into this red band as well. And another one right here. And then in 2017 December, we saw this into the red band. So how can you now tell, even the first move we had this year, did not even touch it. It didn't even kiss it. So, I mean, logically, this is not supposed to end a bull season, no matter how bear we go. That's why I said that we will have deep dumps and then we'll go back up. A lot of people are going to get left behind if you really do not have a conviction to hold some of the things you're holding, right? We are going to go through the struggle trading because it's going to be choppy markets and all of that. When the market settles, you know how easier it is for us to get good trades with technicals. But then again, the market is irrational. So you could just defy your technicals and all of that. But if you look at on-chain and bull cycle top indicators, you see that these things are, it is only logical for us not to end a bull run here. It doesn't make sense. You can see it's not even close. So this is where we are right now. Does it even make sense? We bounced back on into this. It went as low as this earlier after the last dump, the last couple of months. So it's more like we started a fresh bull cycle here, right? Then we're here now. How can you tell me we are going to start going back down again? So it doesn't make sense. Another thing to look at is I think the logarithmic growth curve. Let's see what the chart is actually saying. So this is what the logarithmic growth curve looks like over the past couple of years that Bitcoin has existed. Look at the top here in 2011, the 2013. Look at it. It's always getting to the height of this. Why do you think people say Bitcoin is going to end up at 100K? You think it's just out of the blue? People are, no, that's not it. It's because they are using this on-chain tools, this boost top cycle indicators right there. You can see that if you really measure this logarithmic growth curve, the height for this is just around 100K, 120K dollars thereabout for Bitcoin. Once it hits the top of this, you see that we didn't get, look at this previous top where we dumped from. We didn't even get really close to the top of this where we had all the blow off tops in the previous cycle. So no matter how long it takes, even if this cycle extends deep into summer of 2022, possible. I mean, it's possible. Because to tell me we're going to, just reverse and go up to 100K in 1 or 2 months or for the rest of this year. I don't know. It's actually possible, but that would be totally insane, right? It doesn't really make sense. So it's okay that because the institutions are involved and then we have utility. The market is now backed by utility, unlike in 2017 where we just had white papers and the incentives were just to speculate. The incentives people had to buy and push up, price up was just to speculate. But now we have utility in various blockchains. People are actually using and building on these things. Institutions are actually building on some of these blockchains, adopting algo, some of these blockchains that you see. So you see that these things right now are backed by utility. That's why regulation is becoming more difficult in the crypto industry. They are trying to, like stifle things. It's not going to be easier for them, unlike in 2017 when there was nothing. But they can't actually do it in 2017 because there was nothing to regulate. They have to wait for the industry to form, and then they see what people are using. Then they'll place regulations on what people are using, because it's what people are using that will take the fiat away from the traditional system and put it into these places. So these are where the governments and the legislators will come in and place regulations on this thing. So the logarithmic growth curve shows us that we still have a long way to go, and that is why there are solid predictions for 100K Bitcoin in this bull run. It doesn't happen, it needs to happen in 1 year. So another indicator we're going to take a look at is the mvrvc score. Let's just see what is happening here. Similar stuff like the Rodel ratio again. In 2011, we had the same thing, hitting into the red band. Look at it here. Just look at this. Look at this in 2017 again. So these are we actually came quite close here, but we didn't really touch it. We didn't really touch it on the previous move. But then again, you see that we dumped into this green line where we started another. Okay, we didn't dump after this last dump. We dumped. So I'm showing you this. Okay, here they are. So this is what we have here. I think I'm trying to compare this to what we have in 2013, something, maybe something similar to this. We're just at this level. That's where we dumped to previously. This bottom here, look at this height here. That's where we dumped to, and we're bouncing right back up. So at least I expect us to go back to this height. It doesn't matter how many months it takes. As long as you're patient enough to hold what you're holding, you do understand that we are at some point going to go back into this red band. And that is when you should really start getting scared about a blow off top or the market cycle ending fully. Right? So another thing we're taking a look at is the rod ratio. This is actually one of my favorite, but all of them are really there. Rod ratio is another thing that should get into the red band. It's not there, but quite close, quite close, but it's not there yet. So you can see the previous cycles again. In 2011, we saw this move into the red band, and then we saw this in 2013 as well, move into this red band. Now we saw this in 2017, move into this red band. Why would anyone think it doesn't have any incentive to move into the red band again? If it does it as easy as we think, of course, we are living this Bitcoin life every single day. So we go through the ups and downs, and I think that these things are not going to happen. But if you zoom out over the next couple of months, you're going to see that we have still been following the same trajectory. And these are ups and downs. These are what we are seeing, the dumps and the pumps and all of that. So in the end, we are likely going to still end up inside this red band and call it a blow off top. That's when we start having severe dumps and start even thinking about considering if we are going to have the next 3 year cycle or if it's just going to be a super cycle, really. But I really think that maybe we are going to extend into 2022, no matter how bad it looks for the market at this point, right? You just trade what you see, manage your risk. Nobody really knows exactly the areas that we are going to fall back to. So the idea is just for us to keep managing our risk, do what we can, hodl what we can when we can, trade what we can, always have fiat in place just in case things go wrong, right? You don't want to get messed up on your entire portfolio. So that's basically major things we want to discuss. If there are other things you guys have in mind, questions, contributions, discussions, just let us know right now. And also if this has been quite helpful, letting us know why I think we are not ending this bull run. If this is quite educative, let us know. If you want this kind of things more often, just let us know. Any questions, any contributions so far? If you missed anything, just let us know. We are going to I think I'm recording this. I'm probably gonna put this on YouTube, so just have to watch it all over. Are there any questions so far? Kolo is not in this meeting. I know he probably would have asked something. Or yeah. Are there any questions so far? Is Eze here? Mr. Eze is not here. He was actually the one asking about cover protocol. He was the one asking about cover protocol. You should have been at this meeting because you discussed the cover, and he's just joining now. That's the problem. All right, Mr. Eze, welcome. We were actually talking about you because you asked about the cover. So we're just going to have to watch the replay of this once we upload them, once we release. So we talked about the cover protocol and why people were actually buying. That's the first thing we discussed. So, guys, any question, any contributions, you can unmute your mic and say something if you want to say anything.
Yeah, can everybody hear me? Hello?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone.
Yeah, good morning.
Mr. Miracle, thank you very much for this. It's been wonderful. I joined a bit late, like about 10-15 minutes into it already, and from what I can gather, I I was able to garner the fact that Bitcoin hasn't topped out yet, and we're only just going through the emotions and suffering past the normal ups and downs of the market. Right now, what I'm really going to ask basically is what's your take on the long term holds, being that the market is dumping right now? What do you think is best to buy? Because Solana, of course, I'm in Solana and I literally saw it top out and I'm seeing it at its dump right now. In as much as I'm not holding much of it, just a few pieces of it, but I'm not worried about Solana. Like, okay, I want to know if there's a future for Solana. Like, is it going to top out its all time high, or is this the end of it? Or is it going to follow the Bitcoin trend? Because generally, Solana has never really followed Bitcoin. It has always done its own thing. If Bitcoin is dumping, Solana is pumping. If Bitcoin is pumping, Solana may be dumping or just moving at a very slow pace. Now, I'm basing on Solana because it's still a fresh coin that we can catch. Many of us missed BNB. I, for one, missed BNB. I wasn't patient enough to hold Ethereum because of the gas fees and all. So I don't know if there are coins right now that has a certain level of future, hodl wise. I'm not asking for trading here. I'm not asking for spot or features, just hodl wise, based on the current market cycle, like things that have hope.
All right. I think we already mentioned some of these things. Solana, thank God you actually noticed that you said Solana was new and not like some of these old OG coins and that. So Solana is there, it's new. The opportunities are there. Just like Solana is here, BNB is here. Ethereum has been here. Phantom is here. Which other one? Luna is coming. Uh, which other blockchains are pulling with Polygon is here. Cardano is building up their own. So the market is going to choose. And like you see that the market is actually choosing. Everything is having its own moments. You can't really say in the next 2 years that a lot of them will still be as strong as, or in the next 5 years, basically, that a lot of them will still be as strong as they are right now. In the end, the market will sieve, and regulation will help sieve. This is one thing people do not pay attention to. There's this article I shared yesterday on Telegraph where SEC chair Gary Gensler was there about. Guy Gensler was mentioning that these projects will have to they need to approach SEC. SEC needs them to approach them. Ask us, how do we cooperate? How do we do this? Gary was like, if you guys don't cooperate, you're going to get weeded out. I mean, because finance is all about trust, according to him. It's more like regulations are coming. He's strictly warning that regulations are coming. Of course, the power SEC has in these things. And that is why in the last, I think that was 2 days ago or yesterday, I mentioned that we should pay attention to US based projects. US will always remain a superpower as long as we are concerned. And everything they are involved in should at least, I mean, stand the test of time. The ones they are fully back. You guys don't know US is somehow backing Sam's projects, FTX, FTT, Solana, all these projects, these are US projects. Aaron Gold. That's why you see them getting accepted in the US, and it's flowing because they have the purchasing power, they have the regulations, they have the legislation. That's why you see some other projects that are not US based, they kind of struggle to have this market penetration like their US counterparts. So if you are looking for things to hold
Mm.
for long, Solana is definitely up there. No matter how much it dumps, it will still give you that opportunity. No matter how long it dumps, your idea is just to buy the dips right there if you're looking to hold Solana long term. And if your plan is to hold something long term, you're not. I bet you're not planning to sell them, regardless of price action, right? That's what actually hodling means. It means you're averaging into them at lower prices because you want to hold these things for decades. So we like to believe that the likes of all these projects that are solid right now that we can see, they are there. They are there for good. BNB, Solana, Earn Gold, most of these projects. Ethereum has always been there. Luna coming up. So we don't know what the market is going to fully choose over the next couple of years. So these guys are building. They don't even know if they are going to stand the test of time. But of course, You just have to use your own intuition to understand that US projects are there and they have a chance to stand the test of time. Travala,
Okay.
UTK, and most of these projects. That's it.
Okay. Thank you very much. I like the fact that you were able to channel my question towards a place for that has a sense of future. Now, what you're saying right now is that the US is king, as everybody has always known. The dollar is everybody measures their wealth against the dollar, and the US is the economic world power, no matter what anybody wants to say, at least for now. Now, based on that ideology and based on that foundation, you are saying, or rather, yes, I know this is obviously not a financial advice. That's always been the rule. But you're saying that we should face and focus more on the US market and US based or US backed projects. You've mentioned Solana.
Aside from
You've
Bitcoin
mentioned,
and Ethereum, yeah, we all know
of
that.
course, aside from Bitcoin, Ethereum, and BNB. You've mentioned Solana. You've mentioned FTX. Now, the only one I know among all you said is Elgorand, and I know Elgorand has already topped out. Elgorand is not something somebody can jump into right now. I think last time I saw Elgorand, it was about 400 or 500. I don't even know its current price now. I don't follow it anymore. But I know Solana is still somewhere somebody can still catch up. Now, you mentioned Luna. You mentioned
Solana
FTX.
actually pumped more than Algo. I mean, this is
What do you say?
I think Solana actually pumped more than Algo. Algo is just a 1.
Not Algo. I meant Elgorand.
Okay, ego.
Yeah,
Actually,
Igorant, yes. Okay, Igorant. Those ones have like left where you can catch for a young investor. I'm speaking right now from a point of, okay, instead of because I'm trying to refurbish my hodl bag. I am trying to see, okay, where I can channel most of my funds out and put them in things that actually have a sense of encouragement, incentive to move. Because the sweet thing about hodling is when you're seeing your asset grow, no matter how slow, but you're seeing a level of growth.
Now the
When
truth
you're
is,
hodling,
if you're even talking about comparison between Ego and Solana, Solana had a massive blow off top compared to Ego. Ego hasn't even really moved aside from the first that Ego actually started the bull run. Like this is the chart right here. This is where Ego had all the move before they rebranded to Ego. I think it was ERD before. Then they did the redenomination. I think 100 is to 1 is to 100 or something like that. Did that redenomination. Ego started this entire bull run in 2019, 2020 actually. That's when we had this huge massive move. But when you compare it to the recent move, this is Ego. So I'm going to just put up Solana chart so you see exactly a good comparison. So this is okay. This is Solana. So you can see this is the trajectory. You see how Solana has moved, and then you compare.
Yeah, Solana has moved. Solana has moved like crazy.
Ego is just moving above its all-time high recently. He just tried to enterprise discovery before this whole happened. Now Ego has not even launched their Maya DEX. They've not even started building other protocols.
Oh, so Ego is still around 200 from what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's just 219 right now. And then you know that Ego has not even launched Maya DEX the same way Solana has so many projects building on it right now. Ego has not even launched their DEX. They've not even launched the things that they are planning to come with the market because there will still be projects that are building on Ego the same way people are building on Solana, building on this and that. Ego had to build the first DEX on their blockchain, which is the Maya DEX that they are building. Other projects will still start building on Ethereum Gold. That's why if you're looking at it as from a US project perspective, you know that eGold is, you know why eGold is one of our long-term holds, right? So eGold has a lot of potential basically, and you can see that eGold is even still in the, it's even still above the box, the EMA ribbon, like right here. Unlike some of these charts that I've put up previously, you can see how it bounced off the EMA ribbon to show you how bullish eGold is.
It's strong. Right. Yeah, it's a very strong project. Yeah, that's where I was trying to ask my question from, because I generally I'm trying to change my own hodl psychology. I don't want to hodl things that are not actually moving or things that actually don't have a sense of hope for now, because the idea of hodl is not to just hold it and let your money lie fallow or your money is running into a loss. This is, like you always say, we are in this market to make profit. Yeah. We're in this market to actually make something of it, not to tell tales of woe, but to tell tales of positivity that, oh, I entered it and I made so and so. this for me. So right now, I think I'm going to be challenging most of my ideas. From what I can take from this meeting is I'm channeling most of my energy right now into facing a revamped kind of huddle psychology based on the US market, because the US market apparently has the regulations at their beck and call, and the idea for them is utility. Most of these projects actually have utility, from what I can see, from what you have even said yourself. So that for me is my take, and I thank you very much.
Okay, cool. Welcome. Any other question? Any other contribution regarding what we've done so far? We discussed a lot. In case you came late, we talked about a lot of things, but the video should be available. I'm going to try to put it on YouTube, basically. Okay, so I guess we are okay so far with what we've discussed. No questions so far. No further contributions. I was thinking we were gonna have a lot of questions today. Okay, so maybe we should just end the meeting right here, right? Is that okay?
Yeah, that would be nice. Thank you very much.
Okay, great. See you guys. Thank you for attending as usual.